This week's Parsha, we learn about the virtues of the land of Israel, and the way we learn about it in this week's Parsha is that we learn about it in a contrasting way to the land of Egypt. As the Torah says, the land which you're about to enter, lo ke'eretz Mitzrayim, it's not like the land of Egypt which you had just left. Now, what is exactly the virtue of the land of Israel in comparison to the land of Egypt? Says the Torah the following words. Because in Egypt, the way you want to go ahead and grow the vegetation is that it gets irrigated by the Nile. However, the land which you are about to enter, the land of Israel, you're not going to go ahead and need irrigation to go ahead and irrigate the field so the vegetation can grow. But rather, we go ahead and depend on the rain of the heavens, and that will go ahead and allow the vegetation to grow. This seems to be somewhat of a head scratcher, because out of all the things that we could have gone ahead and identified to say that this makes the land of Israel unique, this seems to be quite perplexing, because if you had to go ahead and choose what kind of environment you wanted to go ahead and grow your field and let the vegetation grow, I would think you would much prefer to have it in the land of Egypt, where in Egypt there's the Nile, which is a source of blessing that constantly irrigates the fields. In Egypt, they don't have to go ahead and worry, is the Nile going to irrigate my field? If not, it's always there. It's always going to be a sustenance of blessing. Where in Israel, on the other hand, there's a lot of anxiety. Is it going to rain this year? Is the rain going to be plentiful? Are we going to have a drought? When there's a drought, people are really concerned. Are things going to grow? Why in the world is this something that makes the land of Israel superior? And I think this teaches us a wonderful lesson, not only about the land of Israel, but in general about our relationship with God. And that is that God is telling us a very important lesson. And that is, when we're in the land of Israel and it doesn't rain, what do we go ahead and do? We have to go ahead and pray. And that makes us engage with God. Of course, He can put us in an environment where there's constant blessing, where you don't have to lift a finger, where there's a Nile that irrigates our fields, and we can go ahead and just be oblivious to all the blessings. But He wants us to be in an environment where we can appreciate His presence, where we can appreciate His blessings in life, and we can go ahead and have that relationship with Him. So that's what really God desires from us. He wants to have a relationship with us, and the most optimum place to have that is, of course, in the land of Israel. So folks, regardless of whether we live in the land of Israel or are not blessed to live in the land of Israel at this moment, let us remember the lesson of this week's Parsha, and let us always remember how important it is to seek that relationship with the Almighty. Have a wonderful Shabbos.